Testing. Why is my camera not working? Hello, 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 hello. Can you see me? Something's really weird, man. Um, okay, so I will say, if you can hear me right now, I'm able to see myself off the camera, like off the stage in this thing. But when I go on stage, my little picture doesn't show. Hello, hello, hello. Testing, testing, testing. Stop camera. Start camera. Come on, damn it. Ugh. Okay, I'm gonna restart real quickly, guys. If you can hear this, I'm just gonna restart. I'm gonna do a quick restart. I was gonna start at 5 minutes after, so I'm gonna do a quick restart. Testing, testing, testing. Can anybody hear me? Hello, testing, testing. Interactive podcast. Okay, so we're going to go ahead here. I hope the chat works. This doesn't work. I will just delete it later on. Good morning. It is Friday, June 3rd. Thank you guys very much for joining. Look, I wanted to do this live for a while. I'm going to try to get back into doing lives. The reason I want to do lives is I think number one, here, I'll tell you the number one reason I want to do lives is that I feel like if you're going to be as obnoxious as I am, sometimes commenting on people's channels and sharing my opinion, I think it's only fair that I expose myself to the criticism, the feedback, and debate that I am sometimes I provoke. So what I mean by that is I'm not one of those people who hides, makes comments. I want to share. I want to learn. I want to listen, and I want to debate because I think that's what makes things better. On that topic, I'm thinking about, and again, I'm looking for anybody's got questions, comments. I'm thinking about the Dr. Beckett podcast. I just listened to this morning a section on, and I guess he had another content creators dinner or lunch, some of that down in Dallas recently. I guess I have to go to Dallas to meet Dr. Beckett and make it to one of these content creator lunches or whatever. But it was interesting because they talked about code of ethics, and some of the things they talked about there, and it was very clear to me. They made a comment of one of the content creators is like the Howard Stern, the shock jock. I have to assume that award, the Howard's, I might coin this later on. In fact, that might be a face. What's a thumbnail? The Howard Stern of sports card is sports cards radio, right? Aren't they the Howard Stern? And I mean that as a compliment. I love Howard Stern, and I'm a fan of sports card radio. I don't endorse, support, or think everything sports card radio does is right. But again, as I just started before, as far as debate, I want debate. I want conversation. I want to learn. I want to be challenged, and I want to do it properly, right? I mean, one thing I said on AIH's channel, I believe it was Monday, was look, this whole tiff between Chris and I, my tiff with Chris is this: he will refuse to debate me. Chris from House of Jordan refuses to debate or interact or have any conversation about some of the claims he makes and the things he says. And I would just like to have an opportunity to have those conversations. Yes, thank you. So I do hear people are commenting so they can hear me. It's awesome. Keep it up, guys. I appreciate this. And I apologize. We're gonna get this camera thing worked out. But listening to the ethics thing, again, Dr. Beckett dropped the question, what do you think about ethics in the hobby? Should we have ethics? How do we do that? And all I could think to myself is this is probably the most unethical market space I've ever seen that thrives on its unethicalness, if that makes sense. And what I mean by there's just, and I think I talked about this on AIH's channel, there's so many levels of shadiness in sports cards. One man's shadiness might be another man's sunshine, right? I'll give you a perfect example. I cannot stand repack products. To me, they're one of the shadiest things in the hobby. They're not quite as bad as other things, but it's just one of these areas where, yes, if done right, they can be great and you can give back. But in my opinion, if you're running a repack for profit, my question then is, why didn't you just sell the stuff in your repack product? And the answer for that is simply they make more money selling a repack. It's not because I'm giving back to the community or I want to help people out or I want to fund. No, it's because I know if I sell this stuff for a profit, I will make less money than if I sell it for a profit in the repack. Now, if you want to repack and give stuff away or whatever, I still don't like it. And I'll tell you why I don't like it is because, again, you're setting a bad example, right? I don't know. It's like an analogy will come to later on, but I just don't like repacks. I'm going to stick to that. I think they're terrible. One of the content creators, I like this content creator, Run Good Life. Again, just as I'm going to say your name because I'm going to give you props because I think you do some great things, but your repack product, I don't like. And I will talk about that later. I think you've done a great job of trying to not be like everybody else's. You have a checklist. You're very open on what's in there. You give valuations and stuff like that. But again, it's a level of shadiness. So go back to the ethics question, right? When I think ethics, so much in this hobby is unethical. Even like here's a good example, right? And I don't mean like everybody's unethical. Like I think what's funny is everybody in the hobby would tell you individually they're ethical, but we work in a world of that's unethical, right? If that makes sense. Like here's an example. You see stuff all the time that has crazy prices. Like I saw that Tom Brady manga is priced on eBay last night like $10,000 for a silver, and I'm sitting there going, that's great because I'd probably be guilty of doing the same thing, right? Hold on one second. I got something. I got to pause for one moment. Sorry about that short distraction. So I think I was talking. Well, I see some. Let me take a second. Look at some of the comments. Let me start lecturing and start listening. I love this unloading your crap on people. It really is, Brett. And I mean that. Like, I want to give stuff back to kids. I have a lot of stuff that I don't want, but repacking it's not the way to do it, guys. It's just not. We all know that, right? And I think the problem with repacks is we see it at all different levels. We see it from manufacturers, right? And I'll be careful there. I think Topps does a buyback and they autograph stuff, right? I don't know if Panini probably something similar, right? And then you got Leaf where the dude goes out and buys stuff. So you have these examples that are set. It's just an area. It's so slippery. It's like I'll come to an analogy shortly. You're crushing everyone into fantasy baseball. Good job. Way to go, Ken's Cardboard. Repacks were prevalent when you were a kid. Yeah, I agree. And you'll see a lot of them. Like we will see repacks for the next 5 to 10 years because people will be repacking the junk from right now for a long. I mean, think about this. All those PSA slabs, there will be PSA slab repacks forever. And there'll be a great chase in there. This card was once worth blah, 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 blah money. And you could throw a Jordan, Jordan 86 Fleer PSA 1 in there. And you get, again, it's terrible. We all know this. Please stop talking about them. Let me see. Now I'm muted. Yeah, I think I'm back now. Thanks, Ken. Injury, blah, blah, blah. Getting stuck on the same topic. I agree. Very good. Bobbles, good morning. Great to see you, first of all. It's up. The manga is up to 16,000. Is it really? See, there's so many problems I have with this. Let me come back to Bobbles, first of all. Bobbles, you're right. And I do think we do get stuck on something. And if I get stuck on something, poke me and say, hey, Ziggy, let's move on to the next topic. I do think one thing is that we need to not let things scab over and ignore. Here's my perfect example. One thing that I saw that Card Porn did the other day, and I just saw it recently, was where they listed all the influencers and who their sponsors are, right? And then you've got Sports Card Radio listing all these influencers, right? The one thing I want to say to these influencers, well, somebody ask PWC Jesse Craig to respond to the accusations that Sports Card Radio has made about him in Heroes of Sports and his shady past. Craig, Jesse, I would take anything. Tell me, you're reborn and you've changed your ways and you learn from this. I don't know, but right now, as someone watching this, I just think to myself, you were involved in that. Clearly, you were, and now you're involved over here. So, do you still have the same ethical background there that you have here? And then everybody associated with PWC, I start to wonder about their ethics. And you can't tell me, right? And if you're a channel and you have PWC on, that you're not aware of their unethical, questionable history, right? The shill bidding, the ownership. You got to be aware of that, right? I don't know. So again, going back to the Dr. Beckett, I do recommend listening to his podcast, talking about ethics, and he talks about code of ethics. Here's what I would say, so I don't complain too much. As a solution to this, I do think what we are missing in the hobby, and I'll keep saying this, is we need leaders in this hobby who have large communities like Dr. Beckett, like Jeff Wilson, like Chris McGill, and I'm giving those 3 names who have clout in the community to come together and help the community better. Like say, hey, we're going to put together a recommended best practices for the hobby. You call it code of ethics, whatever you want to say. But here are the things that we think are recommended. And then, like, for example, there's a Better Business Bureau, right? I don't think that's run by the government. I'm not sure. But think of kind of a Better Business Bureau of sports cards. Hey, we leaders endorse these recommendations for policies, procedures, whatever it might be, right? Just so if I'm new to the hobby, I might come to Jeff's page and I say, hey, Jeff's part of this consolidation. Oh, and you know what? Jeff and Chris and Dr. Beckett all part of this, and here's their code of ethics. And other people could refer to it. Hey, we adhere to the Dr. Beckett, Jeff Wilson, Chris McGill code of ethics. And I'm just giving you an example. Please don't misunderstand this. My point is, leaders, come together. Let's talk. Let's unite. Let's do what's best. First example, and again, I applaud Sports Card Radio for this. His video yesterday about why aren't grading companies doing more to prevent the reslabbing, the frauds, the patches, the trimming of cards by sharing grading information. Like I'll start here. Every high valued card made with a rookie patch auto at some level should have a photograph taken by the manufacturer and should be part of a checklist book that is published when the product goes to market. Okay. From there, every card that is graded should look at that manufacturer's, picture image to see what did the manufacturer make and what are they grading. And then from there, they should include a picture with their grading notes to some type of, database registry. And again, that database and registry could be managed by anybody, right? There's so many of us that get value from it. So, I don't know if it's a community-run database, if it's somebody's running it and they're mining data for marketing. I don't know. But the value of doing that is so important. Okay, hold on a second. Let me take a second and read some of my comments. Guys, thanks again for being here, man. I enjoy this stuff. I don't want to chat too long. Also, real quickly, while I'm chatting, if you got recommendations on what you want to see in the daily content each day, let me know. And I mean this like bobbles. If you're doing something on Friday night, tell me about it. I'll try to put it in the Thursday and the Friday morning so people know to check it out Friday night, right? And I mean that to everybody. You're doing something you want to share with the community. I want to make this channel help promote that, right? I'm not here for profit. I'm not sponsored from anybody, and I'm not looking to be the focus of this. If we can find something else in the future, but for right now, let's use this as a way to share the community. Okay, I got some comments here to read. Bobbles, debating, good. Oh, I forgot I can show these. Forgive me, guys. I am just getting back to the StreamYard world. Look at this. See, here's the problem with this, guys. Everybody in this listening to me today knows that card, first of all, will it actually sell and will a sale go through and will it get paid? I don't know. 50-50, right? And if it does and someone gets paid for it, we all know the value of that card will come down. I mean, that's the Silver Magna. It's not numbered. It's probably a chase card. Is it just in hobby? Is it hobby exclusive? Is it hobby H2? Is it in hobby fast break? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be so many of those cards. So we all know that's going to go down. But here's an example of that. If you have one of them, it's a great way to, cash in. Let's be honest. If you could get some money for it, I guess that's part of the thing, right? You can cash in. We all know it's going to go down. But if somebody's willing to give me $15,000, can I be angry with you for that? That's the ethics in this community. Ziggy, you have watched any of Rattle Pokemon channel? You got a good investigation regarding. I have watched. Excuse me. I've only watched the stuff regarding, and I think his channel is great. First of all, I wish I had the time and effort and patience to do the investigation work. I like to kind of poke you, like show the flashlight where they are and hope someone else does it. But he does a great job. Definitely like Rattle Pokemon. I've not seen the Eric Myers, but I'll definitely look into that. Allergies are killing me. Hey, Ziggy, glad to hear you catch up live. Hey, man, sports cards once again. Let me just say, guys, if you haven't already, someone poisoned my coffee. I'm going to go out like this, right? You're live on Sports Cards Radio, not on the Sports Card Radio channel, but on my Sports Card. I'm okay. Real quickly, if you have not already, and if you're watching the channel, I do highly recommend. First of all, I recommend everybody's channel to check out, but huge fan of Sports Card once again. Dude, I love your channel. I love your content. I like your approach. I wish I had your approach. You did a great video on the refractors, your ComC videos. Also, he's in China, which I think is really awesome because you give a great perspective. Your comments on the Chinese market and what's hot there, I thought was amazing. Really, really amazing. Your also comment on taxes going in and out was amazing too. So again, really, really big fan. Thank you for being here. Glad to catch you, man. Really glad. Okay. Never bid on any shows. Yeah, I don't even. It's sad. It's so sad. 3 out of 5 dentists agree. Having a code of ethics on your channel would be a good start. Wow, Ken, that's a good one, man. That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm gonna think about that, Ken. My ethical code of ethics on my channel. Don't take this the wrong way. The bar would be low on certain things that I would say, not on actions of what I would do, if that makes sense. Like, I like one thing I applaud about sports card radio. I think that many of us resonate, and the reason we tune in is that there is a voice in our back of our head that agrees. Even when we don't agree with them, we're like, yeah, I'm glad someone said that. Yeah, I was thinking that. You know what I'm saying? But good comment, Ken. Ken, later on, do me a favor. If you could come back and leave politely some suggested code of ethics for a YouTube channel. I'd definitely be interested in talking about them. You know, I'm assuming you're not being, sarcastic and rude, like Ziggy don't talk, or Ziggy just keep your face off the screen. Anyway, I like it, man. Sports card radio, let's go. Hell yeah. Okay. PSA has been in business in 1991. The first card was trimmed and most famous card in history, and they're still hobby doesn't care for ethics. It's very true, Bobbles. It's very true. And again, Bobbles and I talked about this. Let's also remind people, grading was not about, like, of all the crimes you can do, trimming was not considered a horrible crime, right? Because trimming means you took a real card and you try to make it look prettier, right? Oh, well, the corner was bad, so I trimmed the corner, right? That's like people who put pen marks on cards or stuck a nail through it. That's why they have these qualifiers when they rated a card. Other things that were more, I guess, on the unethical side were like altering a card, right? And I'm trying to think of an example of altering a card. We were trying to change. I mean, there's alterations, but I guess alteration, trimmed are in the same thing. So again, PSA, their main goal was to tell you, I think at the time, is it authentic, right? Is it a real card or is it a fake? It's going to make this in their printer in the back, or is it real? Now, again, think about this, guys. This is the 1990s, and this is going to blow your mind, right? Before the 1990s, there wasn't really an easy way to counterfeit stuff. And what I mean by that, you had a lot of money. There was dot matrix printers in the 80s. Okay, in the 90s, you had the ink jets and the better printing, and stuff became more affordable, and you kind of opened up to, I think, more counterfeiting, which is why when you were selling and buying cards, and I don't think eBay comes around to what, later in the 90s, but again, the whole purpose of grading was simply what it just said: authentic, and then what's the condition? Is it real? Yes, it is. What's the condition? This is a real card. Oh, it looks like someone trimmed the corner here and the other corner is dinged. I'd give it a 5. That's what it was. And also, let me just say this too. It was just a third party's opinion. There are a lot of people grading. It's just that, this company came out and said, hey, I think it's this. And even go back even further. What it was it even started more regionally, where you had these local regions where people would meet at and trade, buy, sell cards. And they go, hey, we got to get these graded. You use ABC graders? Yeah, I use ABC. Yeah, Frank runs that place. Let's all agree on ABC. And then they got bigger and bigger. So, people who are doing deals would agree on which grader they trusted for their opinion of authenticity and condition. And Bobbles, correct me if I'm wrong. So it wasn't until later on that all the other factors came in, like trimming now is considered dirty. Because again, why is trimming dirty? Okay, guys, if you're trimming a vintage card, you're trimming it to try to get a better grade. Why? Because what we've done, and here's what I just thought about, sadly, what grading started as with condition and authenticity has become a way of telling rarity and scarcity, because we no longer trust manufacturers. Am I wrong? Think about this. There's no trust in the manufacturers. The manufacturers have no ethics. There's no trust there. They'll print whatever the hell they want. So the only way we can differentiate it is by the condition it is. So therefore, the better its condition, the less there are, hence the more value. I mean, think about this with the whole PSA 10, base or silver or any of those generic cards. What differentiates one from the other is somebody's third ass opinion saying it's a 10. And that's what's driven this market. Then that, as Bobble said, then the money goes. And I'll add to this, guys. I've said this before. The problem I have, I love sports cards and I buy and sell to supply my habit of the hobby, but I don't do it to clothe and feed and take care of my living, because if I did, well, then in my opinion, you start to slip on your ethics because, well, a kid came in the store today and he paid face value for the card in the window. That's his choice. He paid face value. I would have negotiated. It's listed there. It's not an unethical thing. If it's me and I'm selling a car and somebody comes and says, hey, man, I want to buy that car. I'm like, yeah, what do you want for it? I would probably negotiate and probably give him a better deal than I even listed. You see what I'm saying? If I'm not doing it for a profit, I'm more friendly about the transaction. And I'm just rambling here. So let me go back and look at some questions. I got a bunch of good questions and comments here. What do you think about eBay authentication? Good for ethics or bad to have extra hands? So Elite Hunters, great question. I think this is a good move. I know there's a lot of problems there, a lot of eyes and fingers. Here's the thing. I put it this way. If eBay was around before PSA never, ever, ever would have existed, right? Because I go back to this, right? Why were we authenticating the card and giving the condition? Because you're probably making these online transactions in like a pre-Craigslist, pre-eBay world, right? So if eBay was there, we all trust eBay. And if eBay was telling me, hey, this is authentic, and I know eBay's telling me that, then I would trust eBay. So I like eBay authenticating stuff. I think the method they're doing it is challenging. Like I look for eBay to acquire one of the grading companies. I really do. Like why even not? And then they could expand that to other things they could authenticate. But then they have to look at the bottleneck. Do they want the labor? Like that's a labor-intensive business. Do you want labor? Do you want the overheads of that? So to answer your question, what do I think of eBay authentication? I like it. I think it's one of the better things that's been done in the hobby to help everybody. Not like Dave and Adams rewrapping product and calling it pack fresh. I think that does nothing. What card are you referring to? I don't know what I'm talking about here, Dewey. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I've been babbling so long. I don't know what I'm talking about right now. John Menji went into sticker shock on eBay authentication stickers. I didn't see that. Again, I haven't been buying on eBay, so manga or case hits, and they were younger crowd, the same Emily Star connecting with comic characters. Brady. Well, case is nearly 20. Good comment. I just don't think it's going to hold that value. And again, I'll just say this. What I don't like about it is why are we even accepting value in something that is completely man-made? Like there's no athlete involvement at all. The only thing that card can say is that it was licensed by the NFL and Tom Brady had, indirectly gave his permission through the NFL Players Association. But God, that's just crazy. Like also, I'll say this too, and I've said before, 20 years from now, you're telling me you can't counterfeit that card? Easily counterfeit that card. Like I think there'll be Star Trek, what those things are. What are those little food replicators? They're little replicators. I'll just replicate as many of those mangas as I want. So, oh shucks, thanks, man. I really appreciate the kind words, dude. Just big fan of the channel. Don't stop what you're doing. Andy, good morning. Code of ethics is only good if they're adhered to. They're exactly. I mean, again, you can have. Well, I'll tell you what a code of ethics does. It gives consumers at least a little sense of comfort, and again, it could be false sense of comfort, right? For example, the card ladder guys, and I don't mean to pick on the card ladder guys, could simply put out they have a code of ethics and that they are adhering to, and here's their code of ethics, and people that are part of the card ladder affiliates adhere to the same one, and then I could point out to you violations of the code of ethics, and no one would care, right? Because who cares? So, right, if no one adheres to it, it means nothing. So, I will go back to, I think, Dr. Beckett's comment on code of ethics is, again, I think you either have two ways this works. You either self-regulate or you will have external regulation. External regulation, you don't, in my opinion, want. It's never done properly. It comes in and does the wrong. It doesn't know the market, the business, so it does stupid things to regulate. Self-regulation, in my opinion, is the best way. We kind of do that, but there could be more of it, in my opinion. Ziggy, you should come up to the 10 Commandments of it. Must watch. It's not a bad idea. I mean, again, as Andy has said, it's hard to come up with that. I think the number one, and again, we can all agree on this, is the golden rule: do unto others as you want done to you. I mean, I really mean that, right? Like, I don't mind. I want to open a box of Prism. I don't mind spending more than it's, I don't mind paying someone a profit off of it. I mind paying them a godly profit off it, right? So, for example, if you've got an allocated box at $300 and you turn to me and go, hey, friend, you want to buy it at $1,500? The market's $16. That's not friendly to me. You know what I'm saying? That's not my friend. And I understand there's a reason why people do it, but man, the market value is going for but that's not friendly to me. Break it with me at twice your cost, and we both get something out of it, right? You paid $350, let's break it for $7. You get to double your money, and we split some of the hits. I don't know. Do something like that. Make this more fun in the hobby. I will say another thing real quickly on the Dr. Beckett thing. A lot of their anger in ethics was focused towards the breaker community. Breaker ethics. Let me ask you real quickly, guys, where is distribution ethics? Like, in my opinion, there's absolutely no ethics in distribution, because my understanding of ethics, well, let me just take this. My understanding of distribution, it's very mafioso-like, right? You want this, you got to do this for me. You want some of that NT? I need you to move some of these hoops cases for me, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not sorry to use the mafioso accent, but that's exactly what I think about, right? And that's what bothers me about distribution. Here's another aha moment I had last night. I was thinking about this. Let me talk this out to you guys. Everybody will tell you, man, distributions or allocations so hard. My allocations are cut. It's so hard to get anything this year, man. They're terrible. Man, my disty's evil. Oh, well, let me ask you this. Manufacturing didn't cut the amount of products they made last year. They made more Prism cases in every Prism product this year than they made last year. So they had 100 last year to allocate. They have 110 this year. So allocations have increased every year. Okay? Am I wrong? Right? Allocations from the manufacturer have increased every year. Not only has the allocation increased, the product has increased. Because not only do I have the product, I have new products, and then I have their products in a retail version. So allocation has definitely increased. But in my opinion, again, disty's been very unethical. They're very non-transparent, oblique, where they're hiding from you. Oh man, I got no allocations. And they're sitting on tons of it. Right? If I was a disty and I got 100 cases, but I got 110 this year because more product, I can go out and tell everybody, I got 90 this year and put 20 away, charge an exorbitant amount, price fix the entire community, and starve everybody. It's so shady, guys. Like, I really do think the two areas that have bothered me the most since I've been in sports cards is the monopoly of there's no competition sports cards, which again, I've kind of stomached that with the Fanatics thing, although I will tell you that won't last. And the distribution thing bothers me. Okay, I've been babbling too much on that. Move on to the next one. Grading is weird as it stands alone. I think I can't think of any other service says majority of the people paying the service attempt less rigorous service. It's easier path to 10 is desire. I agree, and I just babbled that out. But I've said this, sports card once again. I refer to grading as wizards. They're just a bunch of wizards. Some are in Mordor, some are with the elves, and they just go, magic gets a 10. Oh, magic gets an 8. Oh, magic gets a 9. It's really magic. And the reason I say that is because I used to believe that the graders at PSA and BGS were these gray-bearded, wise, smart guys who've been grading cards for a long period of time, and they were great wizards, and therefore I would trust their opinion. And then in the last year, Nat Turner has diluted the wizards at PSA down to the fact that you could be like a level 1 mage, and you are now giving out 10s on PSA cards that can change the outcome of, an entire person's sports card collection. Does that make sense? They're freaking wizards, man. There's nothing magic about it. There's no, here, let me say this. Again, to go back to what I said earlier about an anti-fraud, you should have a standard. Here are the 5 things everybody should grade for and should report on. Were the corners sharp? Were the edges, blah, 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 whatever it is. What were the measurements of the card? What was the width of the card, the length of the card? That should be something that's in there, and everybody should agree to it, and that should be a certification everybody takes. Every grader should have to agree on the 5 points. And I'm just giving you a wild-ass example. But again, grading, there's no certifications, there's no licensing, there's no classes. Anybody can be a grader. God, dude, we don't even know if there's an age limit. You could be, I don't know, however old you want to be and be a grader. Cards are just altered trees. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love grading my cards, especially vintage. However, I agree they don't need to do more. I don't buy any card for 1,000 unless it's slab due to the things people don't realize. I know. It's sad, dude. Here's another thing on the fakes, and I'm just babbling. We'll babble on, but, I enjoy it. You never hear of fakes being removed from the marketplace. Okay? Think about that. A fake is identified. He's got a fake one over there in the booth. Hey, man, where'd you get the fake from? Man, I don't know. I bought it from this guy, and he told me I must have been robbed, man. I was ripped off, man. I'll put that away. It doesn't get destroyed. It doesn't get turned into somebody. It doesn't get, it's just the person who got faked has to take it home going, shit, I got faked. And then often what happens to that? What do you think happens to that? Are they passing it on later on? I'm going to assume ethically they don't. Let's assume ethically they don't. Let's assume what they do is the best case they go, dude, it's a fake. I'm going to give it to my friend's kid. He's 3. He just likes cards. I'll just give it to him. And then he takes it. It's 3. And the 3-year-old plays with it. And then like a 10-year-old picks it up and goes, oh man, one of my favorite players. And he takes it. And then somebody else finds it. My point is, it's never removed from circulation and therefore can innocently find its way back into it's a fake again? And that is a huge problem, guys. Too many fakes and no removal of fakes, no destruction of fakes. Nobody and I don't know the solution for this. If I had the money, I'd say, hey, I'll give you $50 for your fake that you turn in, and I'll put you on my Instagram and you'll get likes or something like that. Maybe you reward them with some social media clout, okay? Maybe that's what you do. You have a social media page. Hey, friend, turn in your fakes. Instead of turning your guns, not to go political, turn in your fakes contest, right? Bring me your fake. I'll give you Panini. You listen to me? Tops, Fanatics. Bring me your fake slab that you got, right? Don't make a fake. I have to stop people making fakes, but bring me your fake and I'll give you a blaster. What do you think about that? I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. Sports card once again. Best part of grading is everyone wants 10s and the send cards, and they buy as many as they can purchase 10s as well. I agree. I agree, man. I love Bobbles. Bobbles is a great guy. If you don't know Bobbles, huge fan of Bobbles and ball cards. Him and his wife, which I really like, family collectors, by the way. And let me just, again, if you didn't watch my video this morning, huge shout out. I go on these tangents, man. I'm like, tangent, reckless cards. Reckless sports cards is one of my favorite sports card families. And I say family because our kids are involved as well. I don't know anybody else who's involved as much as these guys are. But it's not just that sports card reckless sports cards is involved. These guys care, man. Let me tell you a quick story. They went out this last weekend. They bought some cards at a show. They love these cards. They showed these cards off. And then they found out during the show, and then the second day of the show, that the cards were stolen and the owner was there. And they returned those cards to the rightful owner and did not recover the money they lost buying them from the thief. They just stomached it. They took it. And people offered them something. Even and they said this, said, the show owner offered to replace it. He goes, you know what? I just felt like, this is their words, they felt like it was good karma that they would want someone to return their cards that they understood and they were willing to take that bite. That they, as they jokingly said, they rented the cards for a day and they returned them to the rightful owners. Man, reckless. God, I could cry over that. That just warms my soul. That's freaking hobby love. It's companies. They are a company. I guess they do it as a business. But reckless, that is why I really like you guys, man. And that's why I'll talk about you on my channel. I'll talk about you guys a lot more too, because that's just a hobby, wonderful story. That's ethics. You want to talk about ethics? That's a high bar of ethics. That is high bar ethics right there. Let me see here. What do we got? Next question I got here. It's not true value. It's intrinsic value. Very true. Very true. Intrinsic value. Very true. Which is why there are no market caps on sports cards, because all sports card value is intrinsic value. State and federal regulations would be horrible. It would be done if it happened. I agree. We don't want that. But I do think you're going to start to see something trickling in. You're like, I'll put it this way. The Fed's regulating crypto because of all the money in crypto. Okay? In fact, the infrastructure bill that got passed indirectly is targeting sports card people as well, because any $600 transaction will now have more visibility. And there's a lot of that in the sports card world, right? So you have more accountability, more taxing. It's already started to trickle down. It would be funny if Brady was trimmed. 30 markup is normal. Prism is, which is why I moved to minutes. I agree. Dewey, that's so right. And that is the problem, guys. You want to mark something up, that's fine. I mean, I'd even say it's a hot product. Mark it up 2x. I'll stomach that. So sell it to me for $600 a box. And again, if you're a local card store, you're going to have everybody there, then work a system out. But to do it for $1,500 is trash. And then later on to cry to me when you go out of business, when you're the one that sold that to me, $1,500, that's called karma. That's karma coming back to get you guys. Be the card shop that sells it closer to allocation. Be the card shop. Be the example, not the norm. Okay. I need to wrap up before 10. The hunt continues. Found open packs at Target. That's terrible too. That's terrible. And there's another ethics, right? I mean, I don't even understand that. I don't understand. Like, I don't know. I wish AB would hold sellers accountable for selling shady that were fake cards. I do too. I do too. I will say where that accountability is I've seen that again in the community. You'll see people talk about bad, like guys got seller lists and buyer lists, block lists. I'm a little critical sometimes about it, but I do like that. We used to do more policing, I thought, in the Facebook community. Backyard grading. Anybody can grade. Anybody can break. Antitrust laws. What's up? What's up, Matt? Nice to see you, man. I agree with the grading ideas. A PSA is the king of the hill. It has no incentive to really change anything as long as the market keeps going there. They are the king of the hill right now, but I don't think that will last long. I really don't. I don't. And I'll just say this. They weren't the king of the hill in 2018 and 2019. I think they had more cards graded because I think it's still set collectors is what we're grading more. But again, more value cards. Like before 2020, if you pulled a good card, which is an autographed rookie card, not just a freaking shiny paper card or refractor card, you took that to BGS and got graded. Everybody went to BGS graded. Everybody went to BGS and graded. And you want a 9.5 with subs because collectors saw that as a differentiator. Right now, and here's a good example, guys. I think of it like this. The one thing in this market that people don't realize is that if you filter this down, there are only so many collectors where everything settles, right? In the beginning, for example, a player comes out, a rookie comes out, and everybody's excited about the player, right? Eventually he ends up on a team, and then the people in that team collect him, and other people collect him, speculating he might leave the team. But as he goes longer in his career and it's realized he's not leaving the team, only people that team are collecting that player. And then as he gets even longer and longer in his career, you have fewer and fewer collectors. So ultimately, there are a finite amount of collectors out there, and those collectors will be more picky about things like subgrades and the longevity of a card. Like, for example, the reason I like BGS is simply because they sealed the card in a piece of, in like a sealed plastic bag before they grade it. No one else does that. And I think, again, 20 years from now, that will be more valuable than a PSA slab. PSA got there because of marketing. It's as valuable as Supreme is, okay? And I do think that will wear off. I really think the educated collector, which I think more collectors spend more details. Again, I think other grading companies will rise. I think that it's going to be CSG that might be the one that rises with Fanatics and eBay and their investment things. BGS could have. I think BGS fails to execute. I think they have poor management, poor leadership there. I think PSA will fail. I also did this real quickly while I'm on PSA rant. Since Nat Turner's had PSA, he's done absolutely nothing to make the company better. Absolutely nothing. Please, someone tell me he's done something to make it better. He's done nothing to make it better. I remember when he took over the company, I was on Sports Card Live with Jeremy, and in the chat, he was talking about how great this is that Nat took over, how wonderful this is for the hobby. Nat took over. And I said to him, would you feel the same way if Jeff Wilson was the lead investor? And he was like, no. And I want everybody to think about that. If Jeff Wilson had bought, and not even paid for it, but was the lead investor in the PSA collectors universe, and then he bought Golden Auction, and then he merged market movers with that, how would you all feel? Just another businessman compared to Nat Turner. Because I think we're very, very lenient on Nat. We give Nat a lot of leeway. Oh, Nat's a collector. Let me see here. Where's Gully? I don't know, man. Noah, what's up, buddy? Gully better be. Well, Gully's probably out of school. We want little Ziggy. I will try to get him. He's never going to be with me on a daytime show. Probably won't happen. And to be honest, we want Leo. You know, I'll tell you. So Leo never goes on camera anymore. This is what, real quickly, again, tangent, side note. If you are a father with kids, you like sports cards, make videos with your kids while they're young. Because as they get older, they don't want to be on camera anymore. Good stuff, Ziggy. Have a great day, man. Thanks, Elite, for being here. Really appreciate it. eBay needs to fix non-paying buyers. Yeah. I don't disagree. It's a hard thing to enforce because you just open another account, man. Nothing to make it better. Same goes for Fanatics. And Josh Looper. I agree. Well, guys, looks like we're wrapping up. Let me see. In summary, I think we talked about ethics. I put it this way. I like the fact that Dr. Beckett brought it up and it was a conversation. I applaud that. I hope more people talk about it. I hope we continue these conversations. I look for more solutions in the future than problems. I applaud the people who are debating. And listen, I get very annoyed. If you're going to block somebody because they're a troll, because they're really rude and mean, do that. But if you're blocking somebody because they have a different point of view, That's cowardly. Peace out, guys. Stay healthy. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy June.